So welcome to our first episode of Brand Experience Live. My name is Ashley Pereira. I have 11 years background in sales, marketing, and brand, really focusing with my clients and previous employers more so on brand experience as it's related to community, talent for those organizations who are recruiting, as well as employee experience.
Perfect. Hi, and I'm Lagle Moik, and I am a client relationship manager and marketeer. And I use my experience to build relationships with my clients for the purpose of creating excellence and growth with the brand and the clientele.
Awesome. And so the purpose of this Brand Experience Live is, really focused on Lagle and I's like passions and what we have seen in the past through, our marketing and sales and brand that we have provided for clients. Really bringing everything that we've learned together and focusing on sharing the stories of brands who are doing a really fantastic job providing some type of experience in one of those areas. This podcast is going to give them the opportunity to talk about their own attributions to success, what's working for them, how others can also succeed with their own ventures, whether it's personal or it's corporate brands, and then of course give them the opportunity to advertise their own company and services based on the mission and the change that they're focused on in the world around them.
This is so exciting. We are so passionate about it, And I think actually it's really good time to tell them maybe how we met. It was experience itself.
Yeah.
So it all started 5 months ago, believe it or not. And it started because I was doing a project work for my master's. I was graduating, just finishing my master's, and I had to do a final project. I connected with Ashley on LinkedIn, and obviously she was my first podcast guest. I had to do this kind of podcast for my project. I was super nervous about it, but Ashley made everything super easy. And it was fun, successful, and we stayed in touch. And I think we started to mention constantly about brand experience, marketing, growth.
Yeah.
Like offline, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I loved like the synergy that we shared the first time that we met. There was just like this synergetic energy between the two of us in terms of what we really feel like makes a great brand. And it was really cool to get the perspective of someone else who really like you think the same as I do, which is so crazy. And
Totally.
It's so encouraging though. But yeah, I mean that talking about how the importance of creating a personal brand in today's society, how important it is going to be for, going forward. At the time when we met, I was really focused on launching an employee advocacy program for the recruitment agencies I was working with. And I was wrapping up a HubSpot project for them that focused on the experience for our internal team during their sales process. And then I was getting ready to start this employee advocacy program to teach the internal team members, especially more so those that are in the business development and then, recruitment, the importance of the value of focusing on your own personal career brand, how creating content on platforms like LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram or whatever is appropriate for you, really, how that's going to empower your future and your opportunities in the future. And talking from there and learning about your background. You worked for a pretty decent sized investment firm at one point in time and got to know that as well.
I know, and that's kind of fun because my background is actually corporate. So I was 14 years. I lived in London and worked for the really high-end private equity firms. And obviously, coming from that background, it's really you're part of that machine, you kind of know everything what to do, you live the brand strategy, you live the branding, everything, it's all kind of dictated from the day you actually meet with them and until you leave, it's in your system. So that was a fun thing, to be part of it. But I kind of felt like I'm very much, I enjoy sort of personal touch of the brand and building relationships. For me, this is like most important thing. So that's why it kind of encouraged me a little bit to push me out from comfort zone. And obviously, last 3.5 years now, I've been kind of on solo journey on my own, and actually learning and growing, and obviously doing my masters, and now kind of taking it next level. And I think it's best part of it is like there is no like doesn't matter how many books you read or seminars you attend, like you have to actually experience everything yourself. It's all about experience. What I learned, obviously, for me, what is very important is this relationship, like when we actually connected, we didn't know if it's gonna be one-off interview with or podcasting.
Yeah.
But actually good thing is that this experience 5 months later, look, we going now doing this live thing, on LinkedIn and all different platforms, and it's super fun. And this is how I see also, like for me, when I talk about the brand, or is it either service or let's say client that connect with, it's about relationship, isn't it? It's this
Yes.
long-term relationship, and
Yes.
it's not one-off transaction. And I'm super happy that it's actually took us to this journey now together, and it's a completely different vibe, so this is how I see actually for me like whole brand experience.
Yeah. And right. So that's what it's all about, is the journey and the experience and the building of a relationship. And what I've found, I focus on the front end of the brand and you focus on the back end of the brand, which
Yes.
I love about that yin and yang between you and I, because where I leave off, you pick up, and it keeps moving forward as far as like our thought process, and
Mm.
it all comes back around to each other. But what I found with a lot of the organizations that I've worked with in the past, whether it was, super brand new baby startup, or it was an organization that had been around for 20, 30 years and they were doing a rebrand, or it was, small or mid-size, doesn't matter what size of the team they are too, or the revenue. One thing that I found in common with all of the brands that were successful was that regardless of their service or their product or their target
Mhm.
market, the thing that they did well was they focused on creating a relationship, creating
Yes.
community, having conversation, getting feedback, knowing that it's not a one-way street. It is not me talking at you. It is me asking you questions and listening to your feedback, taking that feedback and wanting to know more, right? And then
Yeah,
taking that
absolutely.
too and creating something even more beautiful out of it. And I don't know, Gen Z, I feel like we have to bring up Gen Z in the
Yes, of
conversation.
course. They are everywhere,
But they're getting ready to be the largest buying power generation in history. In the next few years, they're going to take over everything in terms of the decisions, how they purchase, why they purchase, who they're interested in working with, or what products they're interested in representing, because that's what it
Mm.
is. It's a representation, whether you're talking about it or not.
Yeah.
They're going to have a huge impact.
I know, and I think it's still like kind of I see with the brands, and it's not with everyone. I think there is still like a brands. It's a mindset, when it comes to people who are behind the brand or the owners of the business. They still think, I've been doing the same way. Like I have clientele since 10 years. Everything is perfect. I don't need to change. I don't need to be on TikTok or Instagram. But where are your clients? So I think it's just like kind of like evolving with it. Like I was the same. I said, what TikTok? I'm not going on a TikTok
Yeah.
to dance, but what I did yesterday, we created a TikTok account. So finally, I'm pushing myself, but it's so true. But it takes time, because you have to answer why I exist, and does things work like
Yeah.
the brand evolves with you, from you starting.
Yes.
Like I said, lots of businesses who are just startup now, they are still kind of I don't know which direction I'm going. And I can just tell you from my personal experience, working with a client now last 3.5 years, I kind of feel like I've been growing with them because what we visioned as a brand has changed completely. And why it
Yeah.
changed? Because our customers told us, what they want and need. So it wasn't what we think and see as a brand going. Yeah, we created a beautiful logo and obviously the systems around it. But no. Everything is actually around that clientele, They
Yeah.
communicate back. And if you listen to them, then just even if it's out of your comfort zone, go to that platforms where they are, listen to your clients, see what they're talking to, and get involved, build that community around it. And I think that's where the experience comes, because we live in such a noisy this environment. We get hundreds of emails. What encouraging you to open that email from the brand you follow? There must be something, connection. Oh, I like them, they make me feel good. It's about the feeling. I like
Yes.
to I like to say it's like, I'm big at manifestations and I love all this alignment thing. That's what I believe between us is also alignment. That's what
Yeah.
I believe is also about the brand and obviously the persona here. Because for me, it's like, even before, let's say, if I'm a company owner, like, let's say we kind of now thinking what we're trying to manifest with this live stream, like for me, it's about the feeling where
Yeah.
I'm at the end goal, what we want to achieve it, we want to build this awesome thing, community,
Yeah.
experience, share experience and stuff. So you're that end goal, But that's the kind of thing is that also when you create that brand, you have to feel like, okay, what my client gonna experience, either the touch, feel, or receive my services, or they communicate with me.
Yeah. And, when you're creating a brand or even as you go, I think it is important to revisit your why
Mm,
over and over and over again. That why, me, as far as being a brand strategist, I am all about what Simon Sinek says is start with why. If you
yes.
don't know your why and you don't constantly go back to your why, then you get lost in that
Yes.
noise that you were talking about. And it starts to become about things that your original mission was never about, right? You can evolve the brand as time goes on, but what should never change is your why, your mission, the purpose that you get up every day, the purpose that you're really focused on giving to your customers, your buyers, your clients, your patients, whomever your market is,
Yes.
right? Regardless of industry. And one thing that you said that I think is really important to note is that if you don't want your brand to evolve, that is a choice that you're making.
Mm,
And that's fine if that's something that you are comfortable with. Staying the same because we've always been this way. That is your decision. Personally, for me, that's not someone that I would want to work with from like client perspective, because I need to work with brands and individuals that are open to constant change, because
absolutely. Yeah.
in my mind, if you're not changing, you're dying.
Yes.
So if you are okay with staying the status quo and not growing your brand, that's a choice that you're going to have to make. But if you want to continue to grow and evolve as things change, especially as this huge generation Gen Z is coming into buying power, you have to evolve like you've never done before. They
Yeah.
have such insanely high expectations. They do not purchase without doing all of their homework. They want to be educated. They want to be in the know all. They want to be the ones who are making the decisions to work with you and buy your product, not be sold. It is the complete
Exactly.
other way around.
It used to be like push, 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 if you know what I mean. Like I send information to my client more, more, more. But now it's really, I see it's a push pull, obviously I give them something. I'm expecting something back from my obviously audience, so I can actually give them more. So then I can expect something back. So it's sort of like, that's how it works. It's a like you said, two-way conversation between the
It's a
brand, the
relationship.
business. Yeah, exactly. And again, I think it comes down to the business to think, is it one-off transaction with this client? Do I want to see them again, or is it something like I'm actually gonna build on long term? And again, like it's been, you know what, I used this last 3 years really. Obviously, we were in pandemic, so the whole experience went online,
Yeah,
digital. So that was a big kind of shift for lots of brands who were like, oh my god, I had no present online. I
I
have to
loved
figure
it.
out how to do it.
I
It was
loved
for
it.
me. I was for me as well. And I saw that as opportunity for lots of businesses to figure out things, to see what works, what doesn't, and hopefully that was a time to learn. So because now when people out there, again, we can have in-person contact, we can have obviously people visiting your premises or your shops, or they still prefer to do it online, you have this two-way thing. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to you as like a business owner or brand. What have you learned from that journey, from the first things? Have you evolved? And I can tell from my client who I've been working for the last 3 years that we did probably 3-4 updates in terms of branding, brand updates during that time when they launched, during that 3.5 years time. So constantly evolving, you can't stand still.
And
So,
understanding the importance of, you have to go to where your customers are.
Oh, yeah.
And that the comment that you made before about, people coming to you and you just like selling and producing, people don't buy brands anymore in terms of the logo, right? So old way of thinking is that brand equals logo.
Yes.
Brand is your story. Brand is your mission. Brand is the value that you bring to the community around you. That's something that's never going to change. Your logo can change a million times. It shouldn't, right? But it can change and it should evolve as the world around you evolves. But people no longer buy a logo. They buy a mission. They buy what you're doing. Yes, your values, how it fits in with your day to day. Really. Yeah. And how it's going to enhance their life, how you're going to make their life better. It's about me, the buyer now. It's no longer about you, the company.
No. And to be honest, the competition is so fierce now. So what I also noticed, the difference that the story been always there, like all kind of, if you don't know what is your brand story, you need to figure out quickly.
Yes.
But the story's been always there. Difference is that now we have mediums like the platforms where you can actually tell your story. And that is where you need to be super precise. You know your story. Now, what is your story? So that's another thing probably where people say, well, I've been doing this 10 years, but what is your story? Why are you doing it? That go back to that why, and kind of like obviously spread that message, that kind, loving message through different mediums. And that's kind of the concept in there, but it's just evolve around it. So you need to be out there. And personally, I don't know, Ashley, what about you? But if I buy anything nowadays, I read reviews first thing, or if it's not referred or recommended by anyone else, I need to know what this product is like, what experience people have, why they like it, is it easy to deal with it? Is it customer service? Is it like, am I going to be in trouble afterwards? Never heard from there. So for me, it's mega important. So better, obviously make sure you get it right because your clients know more about you than you think.
Oh, yes. They are like stalkers to the 10th degree.
I know. And remember, anything goes online, you can't nowadays anymore delete either, So try to delete one bad review because it's going to stay
so
there.
hard. It is so hard. And, just like staying on the review track for a second too, like, I love that you brought that up because you think of everything on the like the after the sale, and my mind's always before the sale. So anything that you're talking about when you're saying, think about the bad reviews that could be left online or the good reviews that your customers are leaving. For me, my mindset, going back to start with why, right? Start from the inside out. Think about your employees, right? And this is something that we're starting to see, right, a little bit of shift in. The masses are like starting to get like a little bit of a feel of this, internal employee experience and value. But in my mind, right, especially me being in brand for the past 10, 11 years, this is something I've seen coming for a decade and that I see really becoming stronger for the next decade is you really need to focus on the people on your team and giving them the best experience possible, empowering them to evangelize and advocate for your brand. If your people are not advocating for your brand, how do you expect your customers, right?
No.
Your people are the ones who are busting their butts every day for you. They're the ones who are talking to your customers, who are talking to your prospects, who are creating the community and reporting it back to you. They're the ones doing the really hard day-to-day work. And if we're not creating the best experience for them, in terms of onboarding or
Hmm.
talent experience, giving them insight as to what the culture is internally, really seeing the mission from the inside out.
Yeah.
How do we expect our customers to create these amazing things on after the sale? You know?
Yes. No, absolutely. And remember that if you give your employee bad experience, they
Yeah.
go out there and talk about it. It's not anymore your client who actually reviews you, it's your employee as well. And I've seen, I don't know if you've seen lately, but there is more and more, obviously, different mediums and digital channels saying, I work for that business
Mm,
and I would never go back to work for them. They treated me really XYZ. And this is, you
yeah.
don't want to do again, because this is the worst that's going to happen again to your business. Your employee says inside out, how are you going to even actually attract new talent, to your business then?
Yeah. And
Because
individuals are more empowered than
totally.
ever before to use their voice. And I love that, right? So anyone who knows my personal background, right? My personal history
Mm,
with growing up in an abusive home and suffering from childhood trauma and PTSD, my mission in life, regardless of what it is that I'm doing, what I'm selling, who I'm helping, my personal mission in life is to help others find their voice, understand what it is, and use their voice. And that's the power of brand, right?
yes.
And now more than ever, individuals are feeling more and more empowered to use their voice because of these platforms like LinkedIn, which is like blowing up, getting noisy compared to what it was a couple years ago, right? It still has a long way to go. Still only
Oh,
1% of
absolutely. It's like crazy.
users are
Another
using
world
it.
there. It's another world.
But you have reviews and people talking about layoffs or
Mm,
bad customer experiences or bad employee experiences. You have this trend. For me, it's a trend, right? But you have this trend, this new era of people going out and starting their own solopreneurs, businesses. They want to work for themselves because they can't work with someone who doesn't understand how to value them, which is
yes.
this employee experience that I feel like we're really missing out on. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what brands that you think of when you think of employee experience, but I know off the top of my mind, and I've never worked for these companies in my life, okay? But a couple that really stand out to me because of what I'm constantly seeing on
Mm,
social media is HubSpot. Like, absolutely, they're fantastic at experience all around. They opened my eyes completely to experience a decade ago when I started working with them as a partner.
hmm.
And they provide a fantastic talent experience for their candidates, a wonderful onboarding experience, a great employee experience. I mean, there's some other organizations that are on LinkedIn too where I know everything about the organization, about their services, their culture, their products, their leadership because of the individuals that are
Yeah.
there. And I hear about them talking about the company all the time and how empowered they feel by sharing their own voice. And that's what it's all about.
But that's so beautiful because I've been in both sides when I worked in the corporations as well. I can compare, not mentioning names, where actually they empowered somebody to be better, teach, learn as much as possible, obviously see where is your talent here, obviously we will help you every way you want. And then I had also, I worked for business where basically they were not really caring. Even if you asked, they said, well, it's not our interest at the moment. Go and do your
Mm,
thing. But that's where it
yes.
comes out. So yeah, that's why like being a solo like entrepreneur as well, means like I took the lessons on board, and I know
Mhm.
what kind of value and solutions I want to offer my clients. So this is something, obviously I can take it as a only learning experience and apply, obviously now in a new way.
And I love this. Like I love where the conversation just naturally went.
I know.
Because
It's so much fun, we
I
could I think talk for hours. Like this is how we've been doing it like really last 5 months offline, isn't it?
I know, and it's been so fun. And these
Yeah.
conversations that you and I've had offline privately by ourselves, even the one that we've had today, and really getting to the meat of it all, focusing on what experience you're going to give for your audience, whether it is the candidates, your
Yeah.
employees, your prospects, your buyers, investors that you're trying to reach out to, the community that you're trying to build. We have some really amazing guests
I
that,
know.
oh my God, I am so excited for our first handful of guests that are coming up that, in my opinion, and of course I'm going to be biased because we're going to be talking to them, but they give really stellar experiences in specific areas of their business. So
Yes.
some of our upcoming guests include next week on Wednesday, August 23rd, at 12:30 Eastern time, we're going to be talking with our first guest, who is Don Burnett. He works with London House Chicago. I absolutely love him. He oversees the sales and marketing for the hotel. They're a boutique hotel in downtown Chicago. They're focused on delivering high brand value experience for their guests as well as their internal team. And you can totally tell they have won awards. They are the best known hotel in Chicago because of the fantastic employee and guest experience that they give. And I'm so excited to hear what's working for them and how Dawn, personally overseeing all of the sales and marketing for the hotel, has taken it from what it was when he started years ago to what it is now. And they just had, actually, John Bon Jovi was there the other day.
I saw that. It's so exciting, you know.
My God, so exciting. And then the week after that, on August 31st, we're going to be speaking with Kate Holmes. Kate is amazing. She is an ex-Shopifyer, and she is now the co-founder of an e-commerce platform called Pop-Up. And they're located in Dubai, but they serve clients all over the world. So they're an online e-commerce website designed for better customer experiences for, their e-commerce customers. Mm-hmm. So Kate's personal mission at Pop-Up, that they seem to be doing really well. And if you don't follow Kate Holmes on LinkedIn, absolutely follow her and the journey of this startup. It's really cool to see the insides of, how they're growing everything, but they're really focused on the internal teams and creating a community-like culture, inviting diversity, inviting learning, inviting mentorship to the brand. She's made some posts where she straight up tells her team, like, look, I want you to mess up. And I want you to talk about it. And this is the only way that we're going to succeed as a startup, is to mess up publicly and fix it publicly and move forward and listen to each other. I respect that.
Awesome. This is
so
amazing.
Much.
It's actually, it's encouragement. I'm going to admire already business and people like that who are willing to admit it. Let's do it, and let's mess up and make it work. So good for them. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Me too. And, going from Kate creating this community-like and culture for her internal team. If any of you on LinkedIn know who Jared Robin is, if not, if you know who Rev Genius is this amazing, amazing community. It's an online community of revenue generating sales, marketing, customer service, and RevOps professionals. That he started this community very small, just talking to other individual professionals, built it up to, it was like a LinkedIn chat. And they just started talking about the problems, the wins, their concerns, supporting each other from this RevOps mentality, right? What their role was, and helping each other to succeed and overcome their challenges as the world of RevOps was continuing to evolve. And this community of Rev Genius is now 30,000 plus members.
Wow, amazing.
To me, right, this experience that he is providing unknowingly at first, right, to the world around him, is giving people the opportunity to create relationships and build community and support each other, and whether their ventures are at their current employer or their side projects. I'm so excited for Jared to be on and talk to us on September 7th about how he built this community and what makes them so successful.
That's going to be one of the amazing talks, because remember, not every person is like outgoing. There are so many introverts. They're trying to figure out, obviously where I get the support and everything else. So definitely tune in. You can't miss it.
Yes. And then a couple of our other guests that, we have coming up as well after them. We're going to be talking to Will Davidson of growth marketing firm. So they're a HubSpot agency in Orlando, Florida. They provide top-notch prospect experience and customer experience. And I was a prospect for years and finally was a customer. And I got to experience firsthand their white glove service, like through and through. Every single person that works at growth marketing is seriously, like, they're fantastic human beings. They care about you. Like, I know about Will's personal family, and I know about things going on at work, and like, we share experiences with each other because they're so personal. They wanted to get to know me, right? They wanted to get to know me as a person. The companies that I was representing, which there was two, right? He followed me from one job to another job. But he really wanted to get to know me as an individual until we were finally able to work together. And they're just fantastic people. And then we're also going to be talking to Sandy Toneman, who is the founder of Revita Rescue in Mexico. Oh my God. When you told me about the story of Revita, it's an angel animal rescue for
it's amazing. I'm connected to that because I spent some time in Mexico as well, and it's just amazing what they do. Like they give this new life to that. They build this community. Obviously, remember, it's all volunteering as well. These people who offer foster homes, this is all about base volunteering, bringing that community together. And then they have these flight angels who volunteer and everything else, fly these beautiful dogs who are healthy, ready to start this new life in Canada, mainly in Canada at the moment. So she will be really awesome to tell experience how she built that experience community. And obviously, if anyone else wants to get involved in maybe adopting a dog or something, it's also possible.
I love it. I really love that. I value that so much. I'm really excited. Our first handful of guests that we've announced are, I couldn't be more happy with the individuals that are honoring us with, sharing their stories, and what's making them and the brands that they work with so successful. I'm so excited about this, live video podcast. So following today, we will be downloading these lives, uploading it to a YouTube channel, and you guys can watch them whenever you want and have them as a resource for you. Please make sure to connect with myself and with Lagle on LinkedIn. We'll make sure to share our information, our profiles in the description and in the comments. And we'll also be sharing the schedule of our upcoming guests. And we can't wait to build this community and have you along.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, obviously, Ashley, I'm super grateful. Obviously, we connected, and 5 months later, we can bring. It's like a little bit purpose for me as well. We can bring that to the others as well, and connect amazing humans and brands and experiences. So cannot wait.
That's what it's all about. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.